World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
This is World News in 5 here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. A Serbian higher court has ordered the release of a former minister who was detained in connection to the tragic railway roof collapse earlier this month that killed more than a dozen. According to a statement released by a tribunal in the northern city of Novi Sad, it said the court had lifted the detention of former Minister Goran Vesic due to the prosecution's failure to show reasonable grounds for suspecting the official had committed a criminal offense. Vesic was one of the several officials detained last week on suspicion of committing a criminal act against public safety. The arrests came weeks after a recently renovated railway roof in Novi Sad collapsed, killing 15 people and injuring 2 others. The incident triggered protests in the country, blaming the government corruption and nepotism on the shoddy construction that led to the tragedy. The ruling coalition denies those charges, but President Alexander Vučić emphasized the need to hold those responsible accountable. In our news, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum warns that her country would retaliate if U.S. President-elect Donald Trump pushed his proposed 25% across-the-board tariff. Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, Sheinbaum says the incoming U.S. administration's plan to increase the tariff on Mexico would kill 400,000 U.S. jobs and drove up prices for U.S. consumers. She warns that if Trump follows through with his tariff plan, Mexico will also retaliate by doing the same. Speaking alongside Sheinbaum, Mexican Economy Minister Marcelo Ebrard calls for more regional cooperation and integration rather than exchanges of retaliatory import taxes. Aside from job losses, he says Trump's plan would lower growth and hurt U.S. companies producing in Mexico. He estimates the tariff would greatly impact the automotive sector's top cross-border exporters, increasing the average price of pickup trucks sold in the U.S. to as much as $3,000. Trump had said that he would impose tariffs on Mexican products, adding the tariff would remain in effect until Mexico fully addressed the issues of cross-border drug flows and migrants. Later on Wednesday, Sheinbaum and Trump had a phone conversation where they discussed the said issues and plans on how to address them. And for Philippine Embassy and Consular News, the Philippine Embassy in Malaysia, led by Ambassador Maria Angela Ponce, engaged in productive discussions with University Malaysia Sarawak or UNIMAS to promote partnerships and exchanges in education, among others. During their meeting at the embassy's office in Kuala Lumpur on November 14, the two sides also discussed collaborative efforts about coastal biodiversity, climate change, marine conservation, sustainable agriculture and aquaculture, food security, and cultural diplomacy. Both sides emphasized the importance of creating a platform for information sharing and research collaboration across Southeast Asia with a focus on indigenous biodiversity and the cultivation of traditional and indigenous knowledge. They also agreed to explore further the promotion of Philippine studies at UNIMAS, including through having a dedicated Philippine section in the university's library or the introduction of courses on Filipino language and culture. UNIMAS Vice Chancellor Dr. Haj Ahmad Hatta bin Rasid welcomed the idea, noting that such an initiative would help students gain a better understanding of diverse cultures and become global citizens. He shared that UNIMAS has already established partnerships with institutions in the Philippines such as the University of San Carlos and Lemery colleges. He expressed a strong interest in expanding these collaborations, particularly in research, student, and faculty exchanges. The potential partnership could also include mutual grants for research, the creation of learning centers, and exchange programs to further strengthen ties between the two countries. Ambassador Ponce thanked UNIMAS for expressing interest in exploring potential collaborations with higher education institutions in the Philippines, as these partnerships would not only enhance the quality of education provided by both countries, but also foster deeper understanding and cultural appreciation as a result of enhanced people-to-people exchanges. And that's for today's edition of World News in 5 for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This is Win Peñano. Good day.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.